After back-to-back years of a disappointing close to the football season, Carolina is looking to end strong in 2024. How's it going to go? We're about to pick every single game.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Friday, June 28th, 2024. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Shade, joined by our guy, Denora Cersei, coming to you. Look at that fancy mic this guy's got going on now. You love to see it. Thick in the middle of Carolina women's basketball camp this week. His daughter's there, man. You just love to see the full circle nature of that stuff. Y'all are joining us at the place to get your Carolina content every single day. Thanks for making us your first listen or watch. And we want to send a special shout out to all you everydayers out there, as well as all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord. We're glad you're here. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. As the playoffs wind down, the sports stop sportsing like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus every day. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. To find it, go visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right, coming up on the show today, I know I said it in the cold open, but here's what we're doing. We're looking at Carolina's 2024 football schedule, and we're going to pick every single game. So segment 1, we'll take the first 6 games. Segment 2, we'll take the back half. And then in segment 3, we're just going to have some evaluations of it, kind of unpack a few things that we notice and what we're seeing from it. So, Sirs, let's dive into this thing right out of the gate. I'll just lay out these first 6 games, then we'll go hit them in order. The first 4 games of this season are all non-conference. We get the return game with Minnesota to kick things off. That's the only non-Saturday game of the season, Thursday, August 29th, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then the next 3, boom, 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 all at home. Charlotte, North Carolina Central, and James Madison. That's September 7, 14, and 21. We've got the times for the first 2. That's 3:30 Eastern and 6 Eastern. But then from the James Madison game on, as is always the case now, thanks to TV, we have no idea any of those game times yet. So, Sirs, and then, sorry, I didn't. Well, let's just handle those 4 non-con, and then I'll lay out the last 2 games on the front half of the schedule. Norris got this return trip to Minnesota, man. That's a way to kick things off, especially with a new quarterback. Man, that, I think back to Sam Howell's last year, that first game at Virginia Tech, going on the road to a Power 5 or Power 4 now school. That's a big time environment. How do you see this first game playing out?
But that first game, man, anything could go. Like you saw last year when Colorado played was TCU, and everybody expected TCU to win because they had just came off playing in the college football playoffs, and Colorado ended up beating them. So anything could go, man. That's the healthiest the roster is going to be going into that first week. So I wouldn't take no game lightly, to be honest with you, especially with you can't now these days because with the transfer portal, so you got 4 or 5, even 6-year players that's coming back to school. And so naturally you may have a 23, 24-year-old going against an 18-year-old. And with that experience and years of a strength program under their belt, man, anything can happen. So Minnesota is a good matchup. It's a good opening road test for Carolina. They don't have the comfort of playing at home the very first game of the season. So to go up there and get that environment, I'm not sure what was Minnesota's record last year, but pretty much every first home game is sold out for any university because it's the excitement and the build-up over the summer for the new year. So it'll be a good test for us. We can't wait to see which quarterback comes out on top in training camp to be able to lead this squad. So we're going to see. It's going to be a good opening challenge.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that. And there's really something to that when you've got, as you said, that first game on the road is a different thing. Going back to Minnesota last year was 6-7 overall, 3-6 in the Big Ten. As a reminder, Carolina swamped them 31-13 in that game. Right. And so obviously they're going to be looking for a measure of payback there. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how either freshmen, first-year players, or first-year starters come out in this thing. And so that'll be a telling point is, man, you got to be ready to go, because if you get down early on the road, man, it's hard to claw back, as obviously Serge knows and everyone listening as well. So if you had to make a call, Serge, whether you want to give a score or not, is Carolina coming home 1-0?
Yes. Well, first off, I probably never go against Carolina in any athletic sport, but I definitely believe they'll come home with the win. As long as they go up there, stay focused. It's not really much to do with Minnesota, so the team won't get distracted going up there. So they just got to go out there and get the job done, man. Weather the storm. They're going to come out on fire. The atmosphere going to be loud. Just endure and do what we do best. That's run the ball with two great running backs and the offensive line we have to also help out who's ever going to be the starting quarterback. But I definitely believe Carolina come home with the win.
I like that. And then you do come home, and 4 of your 5 next games are at Kenan, man. That's good news for the Tar Heels. Let's look at these 3 other non-conference games, none of which are against Power 4 competition altogether here. Versus Charlotte, again, September 7th. Versus North Carolina Central, September 14th. And then James Madison to wrap up that on September 21st. Norris, with all due respect to Charlotte and North Carolina Central, anybody can win on any game, but I think we can probably just skate by those a little bit. But James Madison, that's a little bit of a different story, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Even with UNC Charlotte now, like, we got some Carolina connects down there at UNC Charlotte. I think Coach Drake Maye, who's on the staff here, I think he coaches down there now. Coach Cross, who was our D-line coach last year, I believe he's down there at UNC Charlotte right now. So they're going to have those guys ready to play now. And I'm not mistaken. I know last year we had 2 guys who transferred from UNC to UNC Charlotte, so they're gonna want to come up here and prove a point, prove like, yeah, I should have been playing while I was here. It's kind of a get back game, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you can't come up here and let a lot of former players or guys who transferred in that feel like they should have been playing at UNC all along. They're gonna come out with a little edge in this now. But I do agree. That most definitely should be a good home opener that we should come out on top. Central's feeling themselves. They won the championship last year, and HBCU they won the championship last year. So in fact, if I'm not mistaken, they beat Jackson before Dion them got up out of there. So they're gonna have a lot of players coming back that's going to want to prove a point. I remember a couple of years when we played what was the school? Who was it we played that first game? Was it
what year are you thinking?
Not last year, but the year before we played them. We played them week 0. FAMU.
Yeah, Florida A&M.
Florida A&M. Yes. So. And it took us a couple quarters to get going against them. So the game stayed close about late in the third quarter. Then we kind of broke it open. But like I said, now you got guys that's on their 4th and 5th year. Some even on their 6th year staying in school to play ball. They're trying to, guys still trying to prove themselves, rack up on NIL deals, man. So you're gonna have some instance where you're gonna have a 23, 24-year-old going against an 18-year-old, and may the best man win. So you just gotta come out on these teams and jump on them early. We can't show them no breathing room. Like, we gotta come out and establish the fact that we're Division I, we're Power 5 school. So it's gonna be a good game. Attention's gonna be high. I know it's probably a lot of NC Central fans there, being Central is down the road, and they get a chance to prove themselves against a Power 5 university. So they're gonna be up for it. And then, like I said, James Madison can sneak up on you, especially like people see now how App State.
I was just gonna say,
oh my God, how App State can keep people in the games. How App State they took Carolina to overtime and to the last play of the game 2 years prior to that. So back-to-back games like that against those schools have been very close, and James Madison is no different. Matter of fact, I believe it's a couple former players from Carolina that said James Madison, George Pettaway being one of them. So he's going to want to come prove himself. I mean, I don't think it was no tension between him and Amarian, but he felt like I was a 4 or 5 star as well. So I should have been playing and getting more snaps. So he's gonna be out there to prove, whether it be in the run game or being split out as a receiver. He's gonna want to showcase, like, y'all should have played me while I was here. He's gonna want to prove that he can hang with the big boys and be a productive back against Division I caliber team. So it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see it. Like I said, I'm always rooting for Carolina. Don't get me wrong, but it's gonna be some. I'm not just gonna be like, oh yeah, blowout. Days of just blowing out teams are coming to an end. Long as the transfer portal and then NIL are going around everywhere, like, you never know who could be on which teams. You got guys every year that's gonna transfer from Power 5 schools to these lower level schools, because like I said, they're gonna feel like they want playing time. So we're gonna have 4 and 5 stars at these universities making a difference. So yeah, you got to come out and just showcase your dominance and do what you do best. Like, if you want to be the best, you got to run through everybody. That's how you get to the playoffs, man. Like, I know the format's a bit different this year. Teams gonna be, it was a 12-team format now instead of before. Yeah. So a lot more teams are gonna be hungry because now everybody gonna feel like they have a legitimate shot to get in and make an impact.
Man, I love that. All right, folks, here's what we're going to do. I had said we're going to handle the first 6 games here in the first segment. We've gotten to those non-con games. It's time we need to take a break. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to get into those first 2 ACC games and keep rolling through that. Duke, right out of the gate in the ACC schedule over in Durham. How's that going to go? We'll get to that in just a second. Right after I tell you about eBay Motors, passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers to roof racks, exhaust kits to LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed or power or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Why? Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you want at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. So keep your ride or die alive right now at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, sirs, let's now dive into the ACC portion of the schedule. And as wild as it sounds, the first ACC game out of the gate is at Duke on September 28th, coming right out of those 4 non-conference games. Reminder, Mike Elko is no longer the head coach. It's Manny Diaz at the head of the Duke program now. This game is over in Durham. Sirs, this is going to be a very difficult ACC opener. How do you see it going?
Of course, Carolina for the win, but Duke always play us tough. They got some good talent coming back. I know a lot of those guys. I think Duke had a couple of guys get drafted this past draft. One guy went in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. So people don't understand. That gives other guys on the team more confidence to play hard and make an impact, because now you starting to see guys actually get drafted out of Duke. Hey, it wasn't like that in the beginning, not for no football, but yeah, that's gonna be a tough opponent. I know they're gonna want to beat us. As Tobacco Road rivalry. They always play us close. I think last year came down to the last play. We ended up storming the field. So I believe they're gonna want to return the favor for sure. They're gonna want to beat us at home and have their fans come out there. I know a couple of years ago we went there. It came out to the final drive. We ended up getting an interception to seal the game, but it took the last drive for us to get that win. So a lot of those guys are still on the team. It's just been 2 years, so a lot of guys are probably freshmen and sophomores that was playing. Now they're juniors and seniors. So we gotta come prepared, man. It's not gonna be no cakewalk. Pitt has been proven to be good and dominant over the years. Glad that's at home. We ended up taking care of business up there last year. Yep. For the past couple of years, we put a whooping on them, but I know before that they got us. So you always gotta be prepared. They always out for revenge, man. Like the more you win, the more looks you get, like I said, this year anybody has a chance to get into the college playoffs with the portal and the way recruiting is going now. So, hey man, you just got to be able to every week you got to be able to come out and establish yourself and be able to hey, do what you hey man. I know I may sound repetitive, but it's just like that now. It's not. I don't like coming through the time when I was in school, Duke would be 3-7, 1-8. They wouldn't be doing too good. But the past couple of years, they made it to bowl games. They've been in battles with teams and they have won. So Duke and Pitt has turned things around, man. So you can't slight nobody no more. That's the thing. Like, if you don't be on your A game every week, any time you could be beat for sure.
And what's wild about this whole schedule that you're talking about there is after going up to Minnesota, yes, you go to Duke, but that's just such a short ride to Durham. So that's 4 of your 5 next games, either at home or in Durham. And then even after that, you host Georgia Tech and then an off week before going to Virginia. So, I mean, Serge, just hanging out at Kenan for as long as we can think about. It's crazy. Carolina has won 5 in a row against Duke. So we are hopeful to keep that streak going. And then that Pitt game is always going to be tough, as you said. So, Serge, in the front half of the schedule, right now you've got the Tar Heels finishing that front half 6-0. You feeling good about that?
Yeah, I'm feeling good for sure. We just gotta make sure we have a business against Duke and Pitt for sure. Georgia Tech, on the other hand, they has. Lord, Georgia Tech has had our number. Like, we went down to Georgia Tech and lost. They've came to us. And beat us. Oh my God, we almost didn't make the ACC championship game one year because of Georgia Tech. So it was they've pretty much had our number, and it helps that they former head coach is now our D coordinator, so we may have some more. We may have some more insight on Georgia Tech to get over that hump. But the past couple of years against Georgia Tech, we've been on their hit list. They've come into Kenan and beat us, and we went down to Atlanta and stunk it up against them as well. So we gotta be ready. We owe them. They're most definitely do. And then, like you said, we got the bye week, which is good. Bye week is good to rest up, because then we go in against UVA, another tough opponent. Florida State, Florida State is another tough opponent. We got Wake Forest on homecoming. We beat Wake Forest not last year, but the year before. That kind of derailed their season as well, so they're gonna be looking for payback on us on our homecoming. And then we go to Boston College, which is gonna be cold. I was just for to say that that's got to be a mental preparation game, because you're not playing down here in North Carolina. You're going up to Boston. It's going to be freezing. Like, me as a guy that played up in New England, the end of the year in the regular season, and then going up there playing them in the playoffs. Lord have mercy. I remember my junior year we played against Boston College up in Boston late November. We got lucky. It was like 65 degrees that day we played them. We played them at noon. So we don't know what time this game is going to be. We don't know what Boston College record is going to be by the end and what our record is going to be. So we got to wait and see. But we mentally got to be prepared for that game. That game, oh, my God. Guys, especially we got a lot of guys on our team that's from Florida and Georgia. Like the Georgia kids, North Carolina kids, they know cold, but not up north in November cold. It's insane. It's insane. So we got to be.
That's right. So that'll be the Saturday leading into Thanksgiving. It's almost guaranteed to be brutal unless we get that random 65 again.
Right. You got to pray for that.
First, after we go through that streak of what is it? Five home games out of the first 7 games, then the back half or the final 5 games, 3 of 5 are on the road. At Virginia, at Florida State, at Boston College, as you said, and the home games there are Wake Forest, and then closing out the regular season against NC State. Out of, I think we're looking for that measure of revenge against Georgia Tech, but going to Virginia, to Florida State, hosting Wake Forest, and then at Boston College. We'll save NC State here for just a second. But out of those 4 games, at Virginia, at Florida State, versus Wake Forest, at Boston College, what is Carolina's record in those 4 games?
Oh, we could possibly be 2-2. Florida State gonna be tough.
Yeah.
UVA is always tough. UVA gave us a loss last year. We had some turnovers against UVA that hurt us. I know we better win homecoming against Wake Forest. That's November 16th. That's my birthday, and I will be there. So
let's go.
So I want to double celebrate. I want to celebrate because it's my birthday, and I also want to celebrate because it's homecoming and we got to win. So yeah, we got to do that. And then, like, long as we're mentally prepared against Boston College, we can go up there and definitely beat Boston College in Boston for sure. So I'm thinking at least with that Georgia Tech and UVA, Florida State, Wake Forest, and Boston College. Yeah, I would say 4-1. That Florida State tough. Florida State only lost like one guy, I think, and that was their quarterback. I think everybody else on Florida State came back. Yes.
So heading into, if Carolina does go 2-2 in that stretch, that means you would have them 9-2 heading into the NC State game to wrap up the regular season. Are you feeling comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We definitely got to get State too, though. State. We're going
to put that in our back pocket. We're going to take our next ad break. Then we're going to talk NC State. We're going to talk these win totals and any final observations on the schedule for today. That's where we're going to head next. Can we finally, good grief, get the NC State monkey off the back? I'm tired of the Wolf Puppies. We'll get to that in just a second. Right after I tell you about FanDuel. I love sports. I love them so much. Never want to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, unfortunately, we get fewer games down to the sport that Circe and I love, the baseball. Let's get it. And the sports just aren't sportsing as much as we want them to. But FanDuel keeps the sports going whenever you want. All you got to do is open the app, dream up bets anytime you're in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. How about this? We're talking Carolina's football wins. The win total at FanDuel is set at 7.5 right now. Based on what we're saying, Carolina is going to hit that pretty easily, going to be at 9-2 going into the regular season finale, plus a bowl game. So if you want to get in on that, go ahead and take the head on over to FanDuel.com/lockedon and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. The Wolf Puppies have won 3 straight in this series and 6 of the last 8, Denora Circe.
Oh, my God.
That is painful to have to admit, but it's true. Is that going to carry on, or will the Tar Heels finally break that streak and start something new?
We have to finally break that streak, dude. We can't. I mean, I get it. I get it. Those rivalry games, anything could go. Rivalry games are like a game 7, depending on the two teams that's playing, because some rivalry games, they always lopsided because one school is typically the more powerhouse than the other. But in this case, no. So it's like a game 7 in the finals. Anything can happen. And would have been
on finally. That dude, I mean, legit props. He's a good linebacker, man.
Right. And I heard he always played like lights out against UNC because he wanted to go there, but he wanted to come to Carolina, but they never offered him. So, and that's typically how it be, So I know, like when I used to play against Georgia Tech, I used to always play lights out, So I get it. Like, I can lose any other game, but when I was at Carolina, we lost to Georgia Tech. I was sick to my stomach because I know any other school, I don't have to see those guys in the offseason. But the guys at Georgia Tech, I've known them since. ATL,
that's right.
Yeah, man, I've known them since middle school, high school, going to all the banquets and whatnot. So having to come home and chance of running into them, I hated losing to Georgia Tech. Oh my goodness. But yeah, we gotta start dominating NC State. The past 3 years we lost, man.
Well, and it's been some crazy games where last year Carolina, kind of struggled with it, but the others, they were in it, and so it's frustrating.
And lost it toward the end. Just got to maintain that level of consistency.
That's right. So how wild would it be, Circe, if each of these past 2 seasons Carolina has been staring down the 10-win season for multiple games at the end of the season and just couldn't get it done? And then wouldn't it be wild because in this scenario, we're talking about Carolina finishing the regular season 10-2.
Right.
And if the year after Drake Maye leaves is the year that you finally get the 10 wins, that's the wildness of sports that you're talking about there with like a game 7. But right. I think it would be something to be said. Like there would be things happening all over the field, not just on the offense, that would allow that to happen. We'll continue to talk about that throughout the offseason. But sirs, let's make a couple quick observations here. Obviously, we can talk more schedule observations later in the offseason. But one of the things that I want to start off with is Carolina actually has 2 off weeks this year. Those will come on October 19th between Georgia Tech and Virginia, and on November 9th between Florida State and Wake Forest. You, with your experience as a football player, how precious and helpful are those games, especially being in the back half of the schedule?
Oh man, I know for sure when I was in the NFL, we hated bye weeks in the beginning of the season. If we got a bye week within the first 6 weeks of a NFL season, we was pissed. We like late bye weeks because it's kind of like an extra break in the middle of this. It's like a break in the middle of the year, so you would likely get it after like that 6th, 7th game. So you get it's like an extra week to recovery. Yeah. In this case, Carolina got 2 bye weeks. So after the Georgia Tech game, which we know the first 4 game, Minnesota, Charlotte, Central, and James Madison, they're going to be physical ball games, but they're going to be games we could dominate as long as we come out here and handle business. But that Duke and Pitt game going to be very physical. The Georgia Tech game going to be physical. So for us to get a bye week after those games would be good. We can reevaluate guys. Guys get an extra week to heal up. And then, like I said, we'll jump into them physical matchups between UVA and Florida State. Then we have another bye week before homecoming, which is good. That'll give guys a chance to, recover. We never know. You may get some key injuries here or there. So with the extra bye week, it allow like some talent to get back in shape for the remaining games. Right. Especially with the Wake Forest game being homecoming. Nobody's like to lose on their homecoming. Never. You never like to lose on your homecoming. And then to finish out with Boston College and State, which we know State gonna be a physical game, another rivalry game. So they're gonna come in ready. So just getting those bye weeks and getting them at those moments late in the season, it's gonna help the team. Yeah. Like I said, may allow some guys to get back if we get some key injuries in certain places, and to give guys a chance to rest up to finish the season strong.
Last question I want to have for you right now, Denoris, and we'll make more observations another time. But one of the interesting things to me about this schedule is who is not on it. I guess the nice thing is, and that's another thing that contributes to our 10-2 prediction here, is that there's no Clemson on the schedule. There's no Miami on the schedule. There's no Notre Dame on the schedule. There's no Virginia Tech on this schedule. And there's other schools, but those 4 in particular, I mean, I know you got at Florida State. I would imagine that's going to be the toughest game on the schedule, but not having Clemson, Miami, Notre Dame, or Virginia Tech, you kind of dodge a bit of a bullet there, right?
So I know somewhat. It kind of hurt me a little bit not seeing Miami and VTech on the schedule. Those was pretty much the measuring sticks of the conference when I was at Carolina. We used to look forward to those games, especially Miami, because back when we had Butch Davis, we knew Butch Davis was a former Miami guy. He recruited a lot of great Miami players that we grown to like love, and that we got to see them in the NFL. I got to play with some of them in the NFL. So it was always fun. It was always fun for me. I know for me especially. I can't speak for anybody else, but I used to love playing against Miami. I used to love playing against Virginia Tech, because Virginia Tech, we used to be like, that's Michael Vick's school. And at the time when Michael Vick was a quarterback for the Falcons, I was coming through middle school and high school. So Vick had the city on lock, so it was always fun. And then we knew when we played against those 2 teams that they was going to be on their A game. They was going to come out. There was going to be a lot of times they probably had like 1 win or was undefeated at the time. So we wanted to prove ourselves against teams like that. So it's unfortunate that with the way the conferences are rearranged now, and now we got teams like Cal and SMU and Stanford, in the conference now. So we have to make room, and we have to like rearrange the schedules a little bit. But some of those games shouldn't go away, and especially that Miami and that VTech game. Nah, man, we could have did Miami over James Madison and VTech over Boston College. No offense to those schools.
No. And I think that's
just over the years, that's what we have grown accustomed to see it. So you anticipate and you expect those games every year. I knew in the offseason when we was training, I knew I'd build up my speed endurance because I knew like later some point in the year we're playing Miami and those guys chase rabbits growing up, so they can run all day. You know what I'm saying? Guys that went to school at Virginia Tech, parts of VA don't got the most guys, in the NFL and then the NBA and things of that nature. So VA always gonna put out guys who could play some football. So that was another team you want to go against. You want to prove that you can hang with those type of talents. And you want to be able to go out there and compete with them. So it's unfortunate that those teams are not on there. But who knows, man? Maybe we may see them in the college playoffs if we get there. We may see them. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you never know. It's still a chance that you still could come across these teams in a year, but it's just going to be kind of hard when you anticipate playing those teams every year, and now it's going to be rotated in and out. So you don't know who you're going to get until the schedule comes out. So yeah, I would say it's not a total loss, but like games like those, we definitely used to mark on our calendars for sure.
Interesting. That makes sense. So it helps probably from a strength of schedule easiness standpoint, but it stinks from a rivalry standpoint and wanting to see those big time games, man. That makes a ton of sense. And these are ongoing conversations as conferences bloat. Will we see more conference games and fewer non-conference games? That could very well be part of this. We'll just have to keep our eyes out on what's going to happen. All right, y'all, this is a fun conversation. We'd love to hear your take on what you think Carolina's win-loss record is going to be, who are they going to beat and who are they going to lose to. Circe has the Tar Heels at 10-2 in the regular season. You feel good about that, Circe? You can walk out the door with that one?
Yes, I can walk out the door.
I love it. Okay, so
I'll run out the door if it's better.
I absolutely love it. All right, gang. Happy weekend to all of you. If you haven't subscribed to the show on audio and video, go ahead and do so. Very easy to do. If you're not part of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord community, we'd love to have you. Come for the Tar Heels, stay for the community. It's a great place to be. It's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll talk again on Monday, but until then, peace.